Well, time is of the essence. The 2-year-old female transient killer whale has been stuck in the tidal lagoon near the village of Zeballos since March 23rd. And that was when its pregnant mother became trapped by the low tide and died. And for weeks, the community, First Nation, and experts, including members of the Ehattesaht First Nation, DFO, marine mammal experts, and whale scientists, have been gathered there to plan how to free the orca calf. Dean Stoltz from Czech News has more on the preparations for the rescue.
Experts with the Department of Fisheries and Oceans have been planning every angle of this rescue attempt for days. The sling that will carry the orca, if it works, was tested as well. A large excavator is seen lifting the sling, then setting it into the ocean, then moving it around again into the back of a flatbed truck with rails. It's unsure where the orca will be taken after that. Plans are still in the works. This Saturday will be 3 weeks since the young orca, now named Ehattesaht, was orphaned when its mother died after it got trapped in shallow water. Several other attempts to lead the baby orca to safety since then have failed, so this well-planned rescue could be the final effort to save the orca.
I'm joined here in studio by CBC reporter Joel Ballard. Hi, Joel.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. I know I sit beside you in the newsroom, and I've seen you, heard you making phone calls and talking to other reporters as well. Tell us, what is the effort that's happening today?
Well, really, today's effort came as a bit of a surprise to probably anyone who wasn't involved in the rescue itself. Ask any reporter here, and we were pretty shocked because yesterday we were hearing how the rescue was likely going to happen in 4 or 5 days, but continuously through this whole process, we've heard from the experts that this is a complex rescue mission that depends on a lot of factors lining up. Is the weather, do we have the right conditions with the weather? Are the tides high? Are they low? Are they where they need to be? Do we know where the stranded orca calf's family pod is? Are they waiting nearby? So without talking to the rescuers yet today, because obviously they're a little busy, we have to assume that perhaps some of those elements have lined up, and that's why we had this sudden initiation of the rescue today.
And we did hear from the Department of Fisheries and Oceans saying, okay, we can confirm that we've started this attempt.
Yeah, so we heard a bit from Dean Stoltz there in his pack, but basically what we know in the preparations, and who knows if this has changed for today, but as of yesterday, the plan was to use a large net to sort of corral the orca, named Ehattesaht, as you said earlier, to sort of corral it to an area so they can capture it, and to do that, they might even have to tranquilize the calf. At that point, they will get it onto a sling, and we saw some of those rescue efforts that they were practicing yesterday, where an excavator will lift the sling, ideally with the orca in it, out of the water, and we saw them practicing moving that sling over to the bed of a transport truck.
Wow.
And then the goal is, of course, getting the orca out to the ocean where it can hopefully be reunited. But of course, it's a challenging rescue because this is a large, live, unpredictable animal.
Absolutely. I mean, when I just imagine when we work with little fish in our aquariums, trying to lift it in our little nets, and think about that kind of operation. And now this orca, this 2-year-old calf, it's been stranded there for nearly 3 weeks now in this shallow lagoon. What do we know about her condition?
Yeah, so I had a chance, or CBC News spoke with Andrew Trites. He's the director of UBC's Mammal Research Program. And he said one of the biggest concerns why this is so critical that this rescue happens is because the whale needs to eat. We did hear reports from DFO who said they saw the whale with a bird in its mouth, which is good news. But of course, whales, they're large mammals. And this type of whale, a transient killer whale, it eats mammals. It doesn't just live off of fish like our southern residents. So it requires an abundance of food. And not just that, but it needs fresh water, which it gets from mostly its food.
Wow. Okay. So again, it's like fingers crossed that all things have aligned. The conditions are well enough so that they can continue with this rescue, and she is basically taken out to open water. What is the plan once that happens?
Well, one of the other challenges we heard from the Ehattesaht First Nation yesterday is that they were told by the DFO that they aren't sure whether the calf's family pod can actually hear its calls. So, of course, it calls out through the water, and usually the water reverberates that sound and it can travel. But because that sandbar is so shallow, it's hard for that sound to get through. So they don't even know right now if the family is receiving that message. So right now the plan is to bring it to open water where hopefully they will be able to connect it with its family pod. And then that brings up the question of, will someone in that family pod take on those motherly roles? Because of course the calf's mother passed away. So will the grandmother, will the aunt take on those roles? It's kind of unprecedented at this point, and we just don't know.
It is a matrilineal family, isn't it? Joel, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Joel Ballard staying on this story for us as the rescue attempt of a trapped killer whale calf is underway near Zeballos on Vancouver Island.